Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch Your Watch. Today, we're covering Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 11, episode 9, I think. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe if you are new and leave your comments below. Let's get into this week's episode. Okay, y'all. So, we begin this episode with Chris and Nell. She has called, they have both called Kayla over because they want to get to the bottom of this Twan and Kayla rumor. What they're feeling right now is that what their concern is, like, what is going on, because there is an age gap between Kayla and Twan. And I think I can understand that. They also revealed to us that Twan has already been married, and he has 2 teenage daughters. I said, wow, that's a lot. Yeah. So Kayla comes over. She talks about, I guess, her day, saying as she's the temporary program director at Nell's daycare, she's enrolled 2 people, and they congratulate her on that and all that good stuff. So Nell brings up that there's a rumor that's going around that you and Twan are together. And Kayla said, you know, this is not the way I wanted you to find out, but we have went on some dates before. Oh. Is there a problem with us talking or dating? With that, now if you remember, when Twan brought this up to Destiny, he said that there was no truth to it at all. Now Twan volunteered this information that Destiny did not know. Like, you volunteered it and you lied to Destiny's face. Please take note of that. So is there a problem with you guys talking? Nell says, yes, we should have known. And I think that people be like, well, Nell, why do you need to know? She's grown. She can do her own thing. Just think about this. If you are a tight-knit family and all that, you have this man coming around your family, and your daughter and him are secretly dating and can't really be truthful about that. How would you really feel that there's like, what's going on here? She says, well, we were just low key. It's not like we were broadcasting it to the whole world. However, this is how it is. No, you were being hush-hush about it for whatever reason. Now, Kayla, you said you went on dates before. Like, this is just in the past. However, you're going to say something to the fact that we're trying to figure it out. Kayla? She says that before Twan was introduced to the family, I knew who he was. I worked at this bar, and we were talking then, but not, I guess it wasn't on some type of romantic thing or whatever. She didn't even know that he was friends with Lance and all that good stuff. Nell said, I thought that our relationship was better than that, and you were holding back. We don't have secrets like that. That's just who we are. And it's just like, you letting a man come between us and what we got going on. I'm sorry, I'm still siding with Nell this week. I wasn't too much off of, not on her side, because I thought she was overreacting in regards to this whole Kayla and Twan situation, but maybe she wasn't. How you describe things, I'm questioning the validity of this godson situation. Nell, you said, well, you know him and Lance have been friends for a long time. Nell, are you officially Twan's godmother? Or is that just the name that you adopted onto him? Because that's what it's more sounding like, how you were talking in this episode. I definitely understand. Okay, so you basically got this grown man who got teenage daughters trying to date your child. But I'm on Nell's side, but I'm also going to speak in regards to these different standards that you have on Kayla, the girls, the responsible ones, opposed to Lance and Chris that can hunch anything, and you're going to be there to catch their fall. I'll say that much. However, given all the circumstances and what was said, I can see why Nell would be upset, especially for the close-knit relationship she thought she had with Kayla. So, Nell feels a way about Twan because he feels like it's a lie, even though she has not spoken to him directly, which she will do. However, the rumors are true, despite what Twan was saying. All right, so we move on. The Scots are back, but we're only getting the women. Tisha goes over to Kimmy's home, Kimmy and Maurice's home. Tisha said that the only person that she can trust out of this group is Kimmy, so an OG. Gotcha. Marceau and MJ, they're out of town. They went to the Kendrick Lamar concert. They said this is in Rome. I was thinking Rome, Italy? But I know that there's a Rome, Georgia. So maybe Kendrick Lamar was there. Kimmy asked, did you receive the text from Trish about going to a drag show? And she's like, yeah, I'm ready to go, da-da-da-da-da. So then they start talking about the whole Tisha versus Destiny situation. Tisha rolled up to the open house that she was questioning Destiny about, is this her open house? Because I guess the sign in the yard did not reflect that this was Destiny's open house. And Destiny said, yes, it is. I'm the broker on this whole situation, da-da-da-da-da. I don't know all the terms and all that. I'm not in real estate, so. Destiny said, Tisha said that I'm sure Destiny took it as shade, but I wasn't. I was just, but you didn't even correct yourself in that time. So, given how you're acting towards the end of this episode, you were trying to throw shade. And there is something about these Scots to try to act like they are just innocent. Throwing the rock, hiding their hands. You're just saying, oh, it's just practical for me to just say that about the sign or whatnot. Because Destiny said in the last episode, yeah, you were throwing shots at me, acting like I haven't been a realtor for this time, da 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 da. We didn't know, the audience, but allegedly y'all knew. So she goes on to say what was transpired during their conversation / argument and all that. And Kimmy was like, see, I think some of the people in this group got to know that the energy that you give off can be offensive. Well, say that to your sister-in-law, because she came in there on some ish due to whatever you said to her, Kimmy. So then we really find out, I guess, what the root of the problem is with Tisha and why she has a problem with Destiny. She is used to people making fun of her as a child, and now she's attaching that to Destiny. And I guess Tourette's is what's really triggering her. However, Tourette's is not what she's saying that you got. She's saying the way you move and behave with her, it's Tourette's. Because it's up, down, over and out, all that stuff all the time. And you've taken it as if Destiny was making fun of you. Let's see. She said, I don't want to be the joke. Or whatever. Don't be joking about me. Okay, whatever. It could not have been how you could have led the conversation, but it was just, oh, you was talking about me. That's all we heard in the scene. And since it was such a great, long argument, it would just seem like that would have came up in conversation. We're not going to get into this episode, oh, I don't like being joked about, which it wasn't even a joke. And that's why Destiny's like, this is not even nothing. And then there was something, I wrote something down, but I think I didn't finish out the sentence. When they are happy about something, they say, what they're saying is that Nell and Destiny are alike. When they're not happy about something, they'll say something, they'll say some mean stuff after they feel like they've been offended or whatever. That's what they're saying. Or I forgot who said it. But anyways, both of them agreed that they will say some mean stuff if they don't like something that's going on. Kimmy said, would you be open to a conversation with Destiny? And Tisha said, no, not right now. Even though we'll see what happens later on in this episode. All right, so Trish is headed down to the event, which is the drag show. I don't know what the place was called. She said that she watches drag shows, as far as on TV, but she's never been to a live drag show. The host ended up teaching us in regards to what we need to be doing while the show is going on. You give $1 to the person that's doing the show, if they're good. If they're not good, then you give them $2 to give them to make them perform better. But shouldn't you be performing at the top of your game anyways? Just saying. Anyways, I've never been to a drag show. I haven't really watched any of the drag stuff on TV that comes on. So I couldn't tell you anything. I'm learning something new right now. Trisha got friends, y'all. Outside of Sharon, because I just thought she was a loner. For real. She got other friends and she invited them to be there. We didn't really see them on camera too much. We just saw them in the intro of them coming into the door. All the rest of the ladies started coming. I think Nell is going to be the last person that comes. But anyways, Sharon says, I was preparing myself for the situations in the group. So Sharon's gotten wind of some of the things that have been going on in the group, and she's just like, let's see how this goes. The host said that this is supposed to be a bachelorette party. But anyways, the first drag person. Is it drag person? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to be obtuse for anything. I don't know how to dress. But the drag person that came out, they danced a little bit, and then another person came out named Lala, and they danced. And everyone seemed to be having a good time. I think Destiny, Tisha, and Nell, when she finally showed up, which was after the show, dressed appropriately as far as if you're going to a drag show. You wanted to get the big hair. Destiny and Nell pulled that off. And I was really surprised that Tisha was willing to get into the mud and start giving out dollars and stuff. It seemed like she knew something about it. Destiny said that she's used to these type of shows when I think she lived in Atlanta at some point. Now, Kimmy is the only one that seemed nervous. It looked like, I don't really do all that. But anyways, she participated as far as I know. I don't know if she really gave the dollars. It was mostly, I saw Destiny, Trish, and Tisha giving the dollars out and all that good stuff. The show's over. I already said that Nell has now shown up. Kimmy wants to know what's going on because it was announced about some type of bachelorette party. And we're also hearing something about a new beginning. So I don't think that they're just coming up with something. So what's going on, Trish? Well, Trish says there is a new beginning because I'm transitioning from my job that I've had, I think she said for 20 years, and going into fitness. And they congratulated her on that because that's something that Trish has been talking about, that she's wanting to go into entrepreneurship. So is it something that you're going to be doing with Ken? I think she said yes. I didn't write it down. So it transitioned from that to kind of now the relationship and how off and on it had been. So Tisha asked, do you feel like you can trust Ken? There was a bunch of stuttering and all that stuff, and Sharon said it's a yes or no conversation. And they basically answered like, no. Trish said that we trust each other in the beginning, but a lot of stuff did happen. You could have just said we're earning each other's trust instead of stumbling over your words, Trish. But really, she said we couldn't trust each other. She said that she ended up spinning the block on someone. And then Destiny said, was it Martell? And Trish said, no. Me and Martell did nothing. There's another person that I was with that we spun the block, and it was great. So obviously, I think they were asking, so y'all were sleeping with other people? And I think she confirmed without confirming that there was some physical stuff going on with her spin the block. But she said at this point, after the whole spin the block situation, and now that she's back with Ken, she's blocked him. I was like, oh. But then it's so easy to unblock too. So I don't know how that's gonna go for you, Trish. Hopefully y'all don't do any. I think that they can stay committed if they think that they're in a relationship together. But it's also, what are the boundaries within this whole, if they take another break? I don't know. But anyways. And then Trish was saying, some of the things that was bothering Ken is that he would be in the comments, da-da-da-da-da. And Trish was like, well, why would you go back to him if you know that he let the comments get to him like that he went out and did all that? Tisha, you're saying now that you don't go into the comments, but that was one of your biggest downfalls, especially in the earlier seasons. It just seems like sometimes y'all, as Scots, you need to remember that y'all were in the same position as some of the newbies. And the Scots, y'all come off a certain way. I really get that y'all the OGs, but y'all just act like, who are they, basically? Y'all give off that, but whatever. Well, Trish said, at this point, we've just set boundaries. Okay, but you gotta also think about the friend group that's got stuff to say and saying you need to leave her, da 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 da. So, Trish, may the force be with you. That's all I gotta say. So Nell, she says to Destiny, I'm surprised you came. Because when we talked last, you didn't really want to come, da 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 da. And Destiny said, yeah, I ended up showing up. Now it's time to talk about Destiny and Tisha. I think Tisha really opened up first. Whoever opened up. Anyways, I wrote down, the first thing I wrote down is that Tisha says that Destiny was joking to humiliate her. No. Kimmy says it wasn't in a joking manner. She was expressing herself at how topsy-turvy this friendship is. Again, you're taking the Tourette's word and running with it. I'm convinced. Is anyone else convinced? Please let me know. Because that's where you're going with, and you're trying to act like she said that you had Tourette's. Nell feels like, asks Destiny, do you feel like you owe her an apology? And she said, no. F no. Tisha says, she never apologized to me about my feelings. Several times she's apologized to you, Tisha, about your feelings and what you have going on. Just like she said, when she comes into situations, she thinks things are fine, then you got an issue, she apologizes for it. What are you talking about? I listened to her over the years and hear her complain about stuff, and the one time I needed her, that one time I needed her, she wasn't there. What time was that, Destiny? Destiny. I'll just ask you, since we're not even getting the answer. We will get it a little bit later on, but it's just like, what are you talking about? And then Destiny says that one time I held you when you were breaking down crying. And she says, oh, that's different. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? She talks about loyalty. Tisha does. And she says that my type of loyalty is not the same type of loyalty. You are still loyal to people that have attacked me in my marriage. And you don't defend me in front of folks that have done things against me. And she said, I've defended you a lot of times, Tisha. The only person that don't defend you is your husband. And then all we saw was red from this lady. Don't talk about the husbands. Don't talk about the husbands, because that's a trigger for her. And apparently being joking. That wasn't a joke. So now, you got to go low. That was low. No, we're talking about your ain't-ish husband that never defends you. Because you're about to bring up something that even your husband didn't even defend you on. She talks about the whole thing about, was it last year or the season before, when Destiny wore the referee thing. She was trying to find ways, it was messy, but she was trying to find ways to see if there was a way to bring Martell and Marceau together. Destiny didn't know that Martell was going to go off like that. Martell did what he did to try to one-up Marceau in that argument. That's all that was. And you were collateral damage, unfortunately. So then you talk about, Tisha, you talk about the time that Destiny seemed to set up an ambush between you and Martell. Now, do I think that that is kind of cringy? Like Destiny, do you think that you really should have set up something without telling Tisha that Martell was going to be here and all that stuff? Yeah. I don't know if it was an ambush. However, I think that you should have allowed Tisha the time and space to decide if she was going to come. Now, I think it was for you to see if y'all could come to amends in some type of way. It didn't go that far because Tisha got up as soon as Martell sat down. So, do I think that you're wrong for that? Yeah. Do I think it was an ambush? No. Tisha said, I'm not going to be anywhere present without my husband, with someone like him. Cool. But seemingly, y'all were supposed to get over that. So now we're getting to the root of things. You haven't really been trusting Destiny all this time. And that's why you put her in the don't trust that HOE category. But wasn't actively saying that these are the things that are still in the back of my mind as to why I can't really trust you. Because you've been saying that we're good. And that's why Destiny said there's got to be truth in even a joke. Because you say it's a joke. So then it's you that were playing yourself. Even though Destiny kept trying to say what is the issue. If you're saying that I still have unresolved feelings, you didn't even say that I'm working through it. Tisha, you're at fault. And I'm sorry. Destiny did what she did, cool. But you as an adult, grown ASS woman should have been able to articulate. Look, I'm just still dealing and battling the stuff that happened. Despite us talking about it, and I said we do it, but I'm still not over it. I think Destiny would be able to handle that a lot better. I think Destiny would be able to be more cognizant, I think I'm saying that right, of how she deals with you. But Destiny keeps expressing, I don't know when you're going to be mad at me or not. I don't know when we're good or not. And why do you keep riding over that, Tisha? You're clearly, now that you're heated and upset, now saying exactly why you don't like Destiny or don't feel like Destiny is your friend. And now you're bringing up, well, you're the one that started or restarted the thing between me and Neil. To be truthful, yeah. However, both of you weren't smart enough and intelligent enough to say, hey, we've already squashed stuff, so I don't know what's going on, but I could ask Nell all of this. But you went right back into, these are the things that I hate Nell for because she's doing this. You haven't been an adult during this whole season. The truth is out there, but guess what? Now it's too far gone, and there's no return. Now, Mr. Carlos King already said that during even the reunion, it gets worse, and there is no resolve. At this point, Destiny's really getting upset because of how Tisha wants to just lie on her and just say certain stuff and acting like she hasn't been a friend to Tisha at all, and just doing things to set her up and all that stuff. So Destiny walks out. Nell comes after her and all that. Destiny's just ready to go. Of course, Nell's trying to get her to come back in there and all that. And she said, no, I'm ready to go. I'm going to call Uber. Nell ends up, I guess, texting her, calling her, whatever, because she's outside. And Nell said, look, I'll take you home. Well, Nell went back inside, and she said, plopped herself down and started eating the food. Now, look, I'm sure she was hungry, but somebody should have got a doggy bag for her or something. I don't blame her for being hungry and wanting whatever was at that restaurant or whatnot. So Destiny just got impatient and tolerated it enough, and she came back inside. When Destiny came back inside, she wasn't saying nothing. She was looking at Nell and all that, like I thought we was going. Then Tisha gonna say, I can't believe you brought my husband into this. Now, I saw the caption say, shut up. But I have a feeling that Destiny told her to shut the F up. That's what I think. I don't know what she actually said. So then Tisha starts wanting to walk up on Destiny. Are you cussing at me? Are you cussing at me? You should have been already on her when she was talking about your husband. So Kimmy was pulling her and all that. No. I'm like, your husband. Destiny didn't even say that he was cheating. None of that. But she hit you with your truth, and you can't handle it. And I'm sure right now, if you go tell Marceau what Destiny said about defending, you're not going to even try to get your husband to say or be accountable for that at all. And even if you did try to bring it up, Marceau going to shut you down, and you're going to sit there and take it. But right now, the focus is on Destiny, so you won't be bringing that up. You're going to be defending your man that is defenseless. Enjoy your marriage and enjoy your life. If I was Destiny, I would not be fixing nothing. It's over. True feelings have come out. I don't know if Destiny went low. It's low for Tisha, but she was just telling the truth, in my opinion. I don't think that she went low. The person you need to talk to is your husband about how he devalues you and allows people to say things about you in his presence. For a couple of seasons, Martell was sexualizing you. Back when people kept saying that Tisha got a BBL. I remember that. Your husband said nothing while that was going on. So Tisha, look inside. I know you won't. because you're going to stand by your man. That's all you're going to do. Anyways, y'all let me know how y'all felt about this episode. Another week of Tisha being a loser. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.